Hey everybody, welcome back to Park at Disneyland, and today I'm going to be continuing with the Tron ride. Tron is a motorbike Vekoma style roller coaster which is at Shanghai Disneyland, and it basically was like an alternative roller coaster to Space Mountain and definitely has like that futuristic feel to it. I wanted to include a Tron ride in my Disney park as well as having a Space Mountain, so I have both. But yeah, if you may have seen the last episode that I did about this ride, I basically started with the track layout and I just did a few of the details which would be on the inside of the main indoor part of the ride. I didn't put too much detail in as you won't actually see it because I'm going to cover it with a roof and walls. But this week I'm basically doing this outside section. So if you've seen the one from Shanghai, it has this huge dome kind of very complex building over the top of the outdoor section, and obviously that's very difficult to create in this isometric style game, but I should do something similar along the way. But I wanted to also create that kind of futuristic looking walkways on different levels that kind of go over and under the track. So in my head from Shanghai Disneyland, I kind of pictured this huge big like raised walkway with some paths going up and the track kind of going around it and under it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve here. And I'm just kind of fiddling around with the path covers and the different curve shapes and just trying to make some circle platform areas and that kind of thing. I had a problem with putting handrails on the circle parts because as you know, a circle has like 3/4 and the fences have 3/4, and you put 4 down to make a full circle, and if you do that there's no way of a path entrance to that because you actually close off where the part would be. So I had to figure out how to do that and just kind of try and make them slightly odd shaped circles in some cases, just to try and get the path to flow easily through each section. So the idea of this also is for it to be like a kind of sci-fi garden sort of thing. I'm not really explaining that well, but I kind of want there to be like this. Well, on the other side of Tomorrowland in this park, there is obviously Space Mountain. Everything's very futuristic. There's the Star Wars ride, and everything's very kind of clean cut, and there's not really any foliage or anything. So with this ride, I thought it would be great to have like, you know, like a garden or something like that. I'm sure there's a word for it, like a futuristic garden, which I don't know what it is, or I can't think of it right now, but I just kind of wanted to go for that kind of look. So I wanted to include some shrubbery and bushes and trees in this kind of part of the Tron ride, just to really break it up and make it different from the rest of the Tomorrowland, but still have it fit in with the theme with Tomorrowland. So I thought having lots of circles and making some like kind of floor art, so to speak, would be a cool idea to kind of make it kind of different to the rest of the area. So I'm just using the different path covers. There are some path covers that are included in one of the Shy Guys sets. I think it's Shy Guys 1, and then there are the actual path covers mod, and one of them is slightly higher than the other one, so you can actually put them on top of the other path cover without them glitching, so you can make 2 different colours. So that's what I did there with those darker circles, which will be blue soon. I needed to get more blue into this area. It was very grey and white, the whole thing, and it just needed a pop of something else in amongst those colour schemes just to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm just getting rid of that kind of stairway there at the back of the circle because it wasn't really working out for me. So instead of having a path going down there, I'm just going to take it around the other side instead. So this whole kind of thing that I'm doing wasn't really planned. It is very trial and error, as I kind of always do, to be honest. I kind of sometimes have like a general idea of what I want to do, and then I just kind of try and do it. But with this one, I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just kind of started with the paths, and then I just kind of took it from there and just see where it led me. A lot of pieces that I put down, I realised, you know, maybe didn't work, but the idea was cool, so I've put it somewhere else. And I've just basically just keep adding and adding and adding until I'm happy with it. So I wanted to have these glass panels as fences, but there are no round ones, so I had to mix up two different styles of fence. So I have this fence from Shy Guys 4 set, which is my favourite fence, and then I've used the glass ones in between on the bridges just to combine the two. I really wanted to have that glass look though, and I realised that my Tron ride was very beige, so I've kind of gone in and I'm just going to go in with like a slightly off-white colour, which is what I tried to do in the first place, but as I went along I realised it's actually quite yellowy, so I just changed the supports there. I shall change the track later on. So now I'm kind of just going to do the floor main area underneath the ride, and I'm just figuring out different kind of shapes. I didn't want it to be blocky, I want it to have a lot of curves in there. But the way this kind of path flows is all down to the fences around the edges, because as you'll see in a second that I try and put fences around and then it doesn't quite work out how I want it and it looks a bit strange, so then I have to change the path and the way it curves to accommodate the fences basically. Sometimes doing these path cover areas with the curves can be really time consuming, trying to figure out every corner and which piece goes where, and then yeah, it takes a long time sometimes. But there we go, I've done it now, I'm happy with that, making those darker circles now blue. So I'm really liking what I'm kind of doing at the moment. I didn't really expect it to look like this, to be honest, but I don't really know what I expected it to look like. But I'm just going to go and add some rocks and some shrubbery. This is actually filmed quite a while ago actually. I did this a few months ago, so it's taken me a while for me to show you it, but the bushes now in the game that are now in with the update are actually a lot better than the ones I've used, which were a mod from the Dinosaur set, so they will all be changed with the newer bushes when I go back into the park and do a few kind of changes here and there. And also it was the same with the glass. I built this before the glass update came out, so the glass that I use in this game actually isn't got the greatest of texture, or the way it's see-through, and when it got updated it was a lot better. It was a bit more clearer, a bit more shiny. So yeah, so on this kind of circle piece here I wanted to write the word Tron, and it semi-worked, but I really didn't like it. But the idea was there, so I'm getting rid of that. I'm just going to kind of make a nice little design using these poles from the Shy Guys dining set. So I actually forgot to film, I don't know why, because I always record, but I must have got distracted or something. But basically I've just using the glass roof pieces at different steepnesses. So I've used the full steep, then the medium steep, and then a flat piece in the middle to make this arch shape. And I've just put them at different heights over the track. Then I'm using these thin wooden beams which are a part of the Shy Guys dining set, and I'm just kind of putting them across at diagonals to try and give like an illusion of this domey glass roof thing. So if I had more freedom with the glass and the pieces, I would have tried made it more curvy, but obviously it's not possible, so I'm just trying to make do with the pieces I have and trying to be imaginative with the pieces and to see what I can come up with. So I'm actually deciding to like double stack the wooden beams to give it more of like a structure look. I thought it looked a bit more like, I don't know, it just looked more fuller and better. It looks like the glass pieces are in between those beams. Now basically I'm adding in these like wooden diagonal beams underneath, which will be connected to these supports which will hold the roof up. I found this kind of difficult to build because I was doing the glass roof and then all the pieces underneath it got really confusing because I had to look through the glass to do it, and some of the isometric views in the game made it quite difficult for me to see where I was actually placing things at the time of building this. But yeah, so now I'm just gonna make some areas for water. I feel like there should be water around this ride, so I'm just gonna place it where I think it looks best. So I thought it'd be cool to have water underneath the dome where the track goes underneath the bridge as well, as it comes quite down quite close to the water. And now I'm just kind of, as you can see, the fences on the paths, I've said this before, but they naturally appear on a path edge near water or near like a risen area, so I shall go around and fix all that soon as well. I just needed to make this water, well, this water here on the right is actually at a slightly higher level than the one on the left, so I'm just going to join those up with rocks and a waterfall. It'd be really cool if we had diagonal waterfalls, because there's been many a times where I've needed that and I've had to kind of do the zigzag waterfall. So I'm adding this like blue wavy line on it just to give it like the look of curviness, because the roof is very static and got a lot of edges and it's very square. So I just added that along the front there to give it some design basically, and then I'm just putting this curved wall piece underneath the edges of path where I don't want the automatic fences to appear. So I'm now going to do the roof for the curve. You may have just seen that I already had some pieces put down, but I was getting confused and it was easier to do it away from the actual ride and save it as a blueprint. So I'm just making like a general basic pattern here with 4 roof pieces and the diagonal pieces. So I'm just saving that, and I'm just going to kind of stack it at places where I think it's good, and then delete the odd little piece that I think is not quite in the right place. So I'm just going to put in the supporting pillars now for this part of the glass roof. So that's basically all I've done for this episode. In the next episode I shall continue on with the kind of part where the ride goes indoors, and I'm going to theme that similar to what I've already done, and just add a few more details and do the whole kind of main facade of the building. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm just going to show you a few screenshots of what I've done so far, and if you've enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I try and post a video maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week, of things that I've been building in Parkitect. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.